but however, we're glad that you all stopped here at Southside to see us, and we're interested in hearing what you all have to say. So again, thank you for coming out. Anything that we could do to be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's give it up for the principal. Jemiah, come here. Now, we're going to hear, because 57 years ago, people's lives were threatened just by walking on that street. Shh, everybody. Just for walking, because they believed in voting rights and living wage and health care, and they were black, they were white, they were brown, they were young, they were old. But they did that coming right past this school where the school is now. And they did it for us. And so today is a reenactment. I always come from a tradition where we honor our elders and we push forward our youth. Old men and women are for counsel, young men and young women are for war. It's not false dichotomy, it's not separation. So in that tradition, let us honor the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Everybody. Hallelujah. And we're going to start by centering, but I'm watching the clock, but because before that bell rings, we want to have Reverend Jackson especially have a word to all of us here. This young lady has a voice. I never met her before, but something said just go over and say something to her. She was nervous, but I said, look, will you just sing a line or two for us? Just sing a line or two for us. Are there any other theomusicologists in the house? Any of y'all? If they're not in here yet, tell them your name. Kamaya. Now I want you to do that big voice you have that's down there, your mama, your grandmama, all the church folk. This is going out to millions of people around the world from right here on Pantherland. At Pantherland. So whatever's on your heart. And then we're going to, let's celebrate Kamaya. Come on. Come on, y'all.
Walk with me, Lord, walk with me. Walk with me, Lord, walk with me. While I'm on this tedious journey, I want Jesus to walk with me. Hold my hand, Lord, hold my hand. Hold my hand, Lord, hold my hand. While I'm on this teacher's journey, I want Jesus to walk with me. Be my guide, Lord, be my guide. Be my guide, Lord, be my guide. While I'm on this teacher's journey, I want Jesus to walk with me.
Band. Come on, your band self. Y'all give it up from Kamaya. Give it up. Yeah. Yeah, walk with me. That's all right. That's all right. Thank you. Now I didn't know her before we walked in here. But you have to be in a movement. You can't always put the same voices up. You got to be open. And she's an impacted student. This is a poor district, poor school, right? And any leader that doesn't want to put the impacted people up front is just on an ego trip. And we ain't got time for that. So what we're going to do now is, in this piece, everybody sitting up here, we're going to ask y'all to take cameras down if you're up in here for a second. And we're going to start. I see you got your mouth full, so we'll come back to you. Right. But we want to start right here with this crowd. And I want you to take your best 45 seconds. That's longer than the Gettysburg Address, which is one of the most powerful speeches. And I want you to say to the world why you're walking, not just here, but why you're walking, why you're willing to walk with us on June 18th, why 2020, why you're in Congress, why some of you gone to jail, and why is it that you understand that coming here must be more than nostalgia. From your perspective, from where you are impacted, because you're not just doing this for others, you're doing this for yourself. Your best 45 seconds is on camera, it's going out all over the world, and keep me on time, because if we get too close to 2:45, we're going to stop, and we're going to let Reverend Jackson, and I am going to make an adjustment for the Aubry family. Okay, we got that, we got it all worked out. So we got a camera. So let's talk. Give your name and your best 45 seconds to these students understand why you're here on the 57th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. And just talk to the world. They're here. We need a mic clear. We need a mic on. Mic. Turn it on. All right, spray this one. Nothing stops us. Say forward together. Not one step back. All right.
Thank you. Hey children, how you doing? Well, my name is Queen, and Southside, the children, I have already decided to organize with the Southside children. I came to Selma in '90. My name is Queen E. Jackson, and I've been in the movement a long time. Hands up, don't shoot, I can't breathe. I went to jail on the Edmonds Pettus Bridge in 2015. But I'm here in Alabama because my grandmother marched in 1965. She was the woman who told them to kneel and pray. So I know that I'm a freedom child. I'm a freedom child, and I'm just carrying the torch for Aunt Sweetie. Thank you.
All right, hold on, don't forget, hold on. We got to be COVID safe. Young man, why are you here, and what do you say to America about this moment?
My name is Marquise Hunt. I'm from Hampton Roads, Virginia. And the reason that I'm here is because I am simply in the struggle of my father, my grandfather, my great-grandparents, and so forth and so on. And I think one of the things that we often do subconsciously as young people is think that the struggle begins with us today. And so I'm here for a recommitment to the fight that our ancestors have made, not only in 1965 or 1963, but before that, to simply gain access. And now that we do have access, I think that our fight should be more to make sure that we have the full fundamental right of all the things that have already been introduced to white America that black America has not yet had to offer.
Do we really have access? No, I want us to wrestle with that. Because the narrative, if folks are taking access back, the question is, what kind of access do we have? And this is not just a battle for black folk. Look at this. The fight for voting rights, like you're for, is right. So let's talk about access. I want you to take 5 seconds and say it, because that's an important point you make. It's a powerful point, and I want you to make it.
So what's the question?
And the question is, in America right now, as you see what's happening, do you see that sometimes folks say we have access, we got to go further. But are we seeing an attempt to take away access? Is that one of the reasons why you say it's not happening on your
Absolutely. There is an attack on the idea of access to make sure that people have what they need, because the reality of it is access from America is simply to make sure that I can give you what I want and not what you need or what you can also get access to on your own. And so when we think about, for example, just going to take a quick moment here, the stimulus checks. If you didn't need $1,200 for a stimulus check during the pandemic and you need $1,200 now, why can't you go get access to the $1,200 versus the time that they gave to give it to you at that particular point. So that's the conversation around access.
That's a powerful point. In fact, rather than give me a stimulus check, why don't you just pay me a living wage, and then I'll have the money. You see, so this is the kind of, we're not just out here remembering. We're out here because this is our image at this bridge right now. We got 2 cars that got to move. The principal say, give them to me. What are they? Got 2 cars.
Yes, sir. GMC.
Got a GMC.
Georgia plates.
Georgia plates. Don't want to call you out, but got to. We got a Highlander with Mississippi. Highlander with Mississippi out front. Georgia plates out front. Got to move real quick. Got to move. Got to move. So, lady, where are you from, and why are you down here? All this sweat, got your braids coming all out, got your hat on. I mean, are you just down here because you looking backwards? Or what's up? What's up? What's up?
Hi, my name is Lena Uddybeck. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, but I'm here on behalf of Dillard University. I am a, woo! Go Blue Devils, go Blue Devils. So I'm an urban studies major and I'm a sophomore. And I'm here today to fight because there is an attack in all capacities, our healthcare, our education, water, just everything right now. We're in a really tight time, so I'm here to fight so that we can get equal and equitable access to opportunities. I think that's the biggest thing. You know, we want access to things, but we don't have the same access to things. We need more. And, you know, I'm just glad to see all these young faces out here to learn. You know, you're here and you're witnessing history, and Reverend Jesse Jackson is here, so that's very important. And today is Bloody Sunday, so that's why I'm here, to learn more and to grow.
She said, right. Did you hear what she said? You've been talking to Jesse, because Jesse said you can have freedom and not have equality, right? You got freedom, but you don't have equality. And that's the battle of this time. Somebody say 55 million. Say it loud, 55 million. That's how many Americans will lose the access they had in 2022 if we don't pass the fall. 55. Somebody say 2 trillion. That's how much money billionaires made. Say 8 million. That's how many more people fell into poverty since COVID. Dr. King said at the end of this march that segregation was a stratagem used to intentionally keep poor black folk and poor white folk from coming together so that they could form a powerful political bloc that would change the economic architecture of the nation. That's why y'all are so powerful. My dear sister, talk to us where you're from around the world.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marissa Pittman. I'm originally from Memphis. However, I currently serve as Chief of Staff for our SGA at Dillard University, and I helped organize our trip to come today. Thank you. Ultimately, there has never been a successful movement for our rights without the work and diligence of young people with the wisdom of elders. And I'm here today because there's a lot of work that has to be done in order for us to have a more equitable society moving forward. These issues such as climate change, equitable funding for HBCUs, health care, equal education, all of these issues start with us having our power to vote and actually vote to make change in our community. So I'm here to fight for that and to say that we won't go out silently while our votes are being attacked.
Somebody write that down. We won't go out silently. New chant for the movement. Say, we won't go out silently. We're going to take 2 minutes, and then we're going to switch because of the time, because of the students that are here. Young man, where are you from?
Hi, y'all. You can call me Patty or Pat. I'm coming from the great state of Indiana, and like thousands of folks all across this nation, I don't have a home to call my own. And when we think about the difference in commemoration and commitment, and back home in one of the parks where me and my folks stayed, my friend, we found him frozen to death in the morning of Christmas Eve after the police had performed 3 welfare checks throughout the night. And on that bench, his name is on that bench, but he didn't get to sleep on that bench because there's a car in the middle. And that speaks to that difference between commemoration and commitment. And that's why I'm here.
So if you believe in that America should not be walking away from homeless people and we should be guaranteeing housing, then you will be in the fight for voting rights, because the same people that suppress voting rights, suppress housing rights, suppress living wages, suppress education, and take us to war needlessly. All of it's connected. Somebody say it's all connected. Young brother.
Hey, my name is Tony. I'm coming from Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm just angry that politicians and big businesses are here to celebrate Selma and Bloody Sunday instead of seeing this as a call to action. And I just need, folks need to understand that the voter suppression that we're seeing today is the worst voter suppression that we've seen in literally decades. And voter suppression is bipartisan. It's not Republican or Democrat suppressing the votes. It's all across the board. They're all working to suppress the votes of poor and low-income voters. And like Reverend Barbara is saying, over 50 million voters are at stake of losing their access to the ballot in living wages, environmental poverty, healthcare, childcare, Build Back Better, child tax credit. It's all at stake. In this moment, we are called to the movement, and we have to get involved.
Did you hear the brother say, I'm angry? Look, anger is a necessary part of the movement. Instead of getting mad you lose your mind. Anger, the word means and grief. It means you're grieving over reality. And when you really get angry, then you start working to remove the thing that's causing you to be angry in the first place. You don't have to sin because you're angry, but you got to organize if you're angry. You got to mobilize. Thank you, brother, for bringing that in the room. And thank you for reminding us that corporations, did y'all know the main people against passing the Voting Rights Act, restoring voting rights and living wage is the U.S. Chamber of Commerce? The U.S. Chamber of Commerce. It's not just some crazy senator who's talking to you. You got to get deeper than that. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce is against voting rights, restoring the Voting Rights Act, against living wages, and against health. But they will put a little money toward a festival. But then they will turn right around and also give a money to a senator who will vote against your rights. Keep your eye on the prize. All right? We're going to break because we got these minutes. There they are. We want the Aubry family to tell us why they're here and why they're here and why, all around the room, why they're here. All the family. All the family. Brother, raise your hand, Aubry. Where are you? Where are you? Stand up, y'all. Where are you? We got 5 minutes. She's going to take one of them and say why they not only were concerned about justice. We're going to tell them. We're going to tell them. We're going to tell them. They're going to tell you who he is. They're going to tell you why, even though they've got a court case and some people have been put in jail, they are still in the movement, and they understand the connection. So my dear sister, tell them who he is, tell them why you here, and tell them why y'all ain't going to turn back.
First of all, giving honor to how everybody doing. We're not letting our foot and our necks off of nothing in the state of Brunswick, Georgia. We have come a long way. We have learned how to connect and stick together as one, because how this happened, we're not giving up. We're letting the system know this was wrong, how they done my nephew. They murdered him in a broad daylight, 1 o'clock on a bloody Sunday. It was a bloody Sunday. They took his life away from him, and we're not letting go on nothing. So continue praying for the Aubry family. We're here because of this freedom. Because we see that it was freedom to yesterday. We done the walk. And my brother just got back from that 13 miles walk. He done it. Because he's the type that is not giving up on nothing. I don't care what it is, what is going on. My brother's not giving up on nothing. And guess what? His siblings going to stand behind him every step of the way. Anytime he needs us, we there for him. He made sure everybody else wanted to get out the line. I was one of them who said, I'm not going to walk. But guess what my brother said? I'm going to take this walk all the way to this end. And that's what he done.
Real quick. Brother Aubry was shot down. 3 white attacked him. They said that he had done something to him. They filmed the killing, young folk. The video didn't come out till later. They thought when they put the video out, people would join with them. This happened before George Floyd. Most people didn't know anything about it. The mom and the father kept fighting. They had to went through 3 DAs. Barbara Arwine, who's sitting right there. Barbara, stand up, raise your hand. One of the most powerful lawyers in this country. Wouldn't turn it loose. And finally, they had a conviction in state court, and then a conviction in working in federal court, but it shouldn't have taken all of that. The brother was shot while running and dreaming. That's what he was doing, running and dreaming, that's all. But they are here because they understand. Yeah. Marcus. 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 Say his name.
Marcus.
Say his name.
Marcus.
Say his name. All right, all right. Now, we got 2 minutes because the bus is going to roll. We're going to stay here because we still got some stuff to get on camera. But we got Reverend Jesse Jackson, and we've got Reverend Liz Theo Harris, and we've got Miss Aubry, I call her Aubry, Miss Arwine. And we're going to break this 4 minutes up like this. 2 minutes to Reverend Jackson. This is not the only time he's going to talk. 2 minutes to speak, 1 minute to Liz, 1 minute to Arwine. That's going to get us to the bell, and then we're going to come back. Don't tell me y'all can't do it. Give it up for Reverend Jackson.
Thank you very much. Dr. King spoke in Washington in 1963. There was one black Christian in the whole South in 1963. Leroy Johnson, Atlanta, Georgia. Today, there's a black mayor in Birmingham where they blew up the church in 63. There's a black mayor in Selma, Alabama, who marched in 1965. Black mayor in Tuskegee, Alabama, where they did the experiment on our people. There's a black mayor in Montgomery, Alabama, with a boycott launched. There's a black mayor in Mobile. They launched the first where the last slave ship landed. Say, when we vote, in March, we matter. All those who are 12 or 8 will be 18 by November, please stand. You'll be 18 by November, please say.
18 by November, stand up. If you'll be 18 by November.
Stand. Seniors, stand. Seniors, you should. Say, I am.
I am.
Somebody.
Somebody.
I am.
I am.
Somebody.
Somebody.
I matter.
I matter.
I matter.
I matter.
And my mind can conceive it. My heart can believe it. I know I can achieve it. I am somebody. I am God's child. Let me hear you scream. Now, we're going to ask for those. I want all the in this school, Mr. Principal, who are 12, started school at 6, they'll be 18 by November. Come across the stage with the diploma in one hand, where's the principal?
He stepped out.
I want a voter card in one hand and a diploma in the other, all right?
All right.
A voter card, there's 50,000 high school seniors in this state. Your vote will make a difference. My friends, there are 3 million high school seniors in America. We vote, we can determine who the president is. Who's the senator, who's the congressman. Say, I must vote.
I must vote.
My vote.
My vote.
Make a difference.
Make a difference.
Love you guys.
Yes, sir. Did you hear him? My vote must make a difference. He said, when you graduate with a diploma in one hand and a voting card in the other. Give it up for Reverend Jesse Jackson, his service, his commitment. Reverend Liz Theo Harris.
Just brief greetings. It's so great to be here. Yep. Have a safe trip back to your homes. I know. All right. So we are living in a nation that is the richest country in the world. And yet there are 140 million people who are poor or one emergency away from economic ruin. And that is not right. It does not have to be. And so I am marching on behalf of communities all over, on behalf of my family, my kids who go to school, with 70% kids who are living below the poverty line, and on behalf of my family members who do not have health care, who do not get living wages, who have experienced homelessness, discrimination, and all forms of injustice. And I will keep fighting alongside people till we win, till we win.
Somebody say, until we win. Now, the students had to leave because we were a little late, but the live stream is going. There are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people literally on live stream. That's why I was saying keep on, keep on. So continue to talk to the nation. This is being cross-posted and under-posted and all kind of posted, all right? And so that's why we're doing this town hall like this. Give it up for Fire Rose and her continual work and the work that goes on throughout Barbara Iwan. And then we're going to go back to people that are directly.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Yes. You know, the only reason why I ever went to college in the first place was because I wanted to help people who were poor. The only reason why I ever went to law school was that I wanted to practice against and then I became a racial discrimination. And that's where I spent my time in racial justice. But I want to say that we are here because this moment calls for us. It calls for us. It's screaming for our presence. It's screaming for our activism. I'm so proud to stand here, not just because God has given us the strength to come together, but because of the beautiful people that he's brought into this room. I want to give a shout out to my sister Latasha Brown. Oh yes, black voters matter. I don't know where my brother Cliff is, but Cliff is in the house. There he is. Yes, I want to give love because love's been given to so many, but I want to give love to them because I've seen the work they've done. And God knows it's our partnerships that are going to make the difference, and they're going to lead the march on Wednesday. So let's get out there. Let's be there. I will never stop this battle. As long as God gives me breath, I'm in this battle, on the battlefield. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hold up 1 minute, Father. Let me go back here because we said what we were going to do. And the scripture says, we are not of those who shrink back unto destruction, but we are those who persevere. I left this young lady. I promised her we're coming right there because she came down. Why is it, as a young person, that you are here and that you are engaged, not just this week, but why is it that you are engaged? Come on, talk to the country, talk to the world.
Hi, everyone. I'm Hannah. I'm from Maine, and I'm currently studying to become a minister in Boston. I'm a Christian, and I'm a member of the LGBTQ community, and those combinations of identities really compel me to understand this message of liberation. For me, it's really found in the Bible. I had a really impactful Easter last year, and it really taught me that resurrection is a real thing. And right now in our country, resurrection means collective liberation. It means tearing down these systems and building new ones. I'm so grateful to be here with all you today. And really the reason I'm here is because someone else brought me here, and I was invited. And so I just hope that we can continue doing that.
Did y'all hear the sister say resurrection is a real thing and real resurrection is collective liberation? Did y'all hear that? I think we ought to grab that. Thank you for dropping that. Thank you for dropping that in this room. Let's give it up for attorney, our counseling leader, Fire Road.
Real quickly, I really appreciate all of y'all being here, but I don't think any of y'all know how bad Selma is. I really was disappointed that all of those big HUD, this is one of the poorest cities in Alabama, in Mississippi. Those children, they didn't know Jesse Jackson. They never heard of you. I walked into a school the other day and they thought I was Rosa Parks because I was talking civil rights. We are in a dangerous position. And I'm saying to y'all, we need y'all, some of y'all, to help us to come back and get rid of the worst sheriff since Jim Clark. We have men in the Dallas County Jail, been there 10 years without a trial. We got children that have to walk 10 miles to school every day, like my husband did 50 years ago. This is the seat of poverty here. Tasha can tell you. Tasha and Cliff, they came and tried to change Selma, but they were so backwards. But God gave them a new place and a new town so they could come back and help Selma. Y'all, Selma gave everything, but y'all got to help us give back to Selma. That's all I got to say. These children, I was arrested by a young man that he said, I heard you speak at this school. I said, why are you arresting me? Strip searched by black people, made to walk up two. We need y'all. We need you not to come in March. This man has been with us from the beginning. I was upset that not any of those children even clapped when he said, I am somebody. Not one of them open their mouths to say to somebody, they never heard of your son. That's why I rushed out here and tell them, tell how he was murdered. They don't know. When George Floyd was killed, I couldn't get 50 people to a rally. That's the Selma now. Thank you for allowing me to have this minute. We need you.
The truth that Fire Rose has spoken. But listen, you are exactly right. And when we had planned originally, it wasn't going to be all of that some of that saw yesterday. We were going to center people from Alabama. Now, I'm going to go any further than that. Media here, I don't want to create that storm. But you are right. That's why we're building a movement. That's why all of us are connected together. That's why on June 18th, we're going to put before the nation Selma and every other Selma and all the people. And we're promising you that on that day, all of the speakers going to be impacted people and not people talking for folk. If we can do this together, right, we got to shift this moral narrative. It's not going to mean that Latasha wouldn't speak, but Latasha may speak and bring up an impacted family and stand there with them. But I will tell you this, on June 18th, ain't nobody standing at a podium by themselves. Ain't going to be no podium by themselves. And I will say this, might get really in trouble, but not only is it what you said, Selma is the canary in the mine, because 45% of people in Alabama are poor and low wealth. We ought to 500,000 people nearly without health insurance. 144,000 black voters disenfranchised through felony. You got to work 82 hours a week at minimum wage just to afford a basic 2-bedroom apartment, working at $7.25 an hour. And if you are a waiter, you got to work almost 160 hours a week because you don't make but $2.13 an hour. We've got a problem in America, but we can change it because poverty is not our choice. It is a policy decision. But we got to bring together black and white and brown and Asian, and we've got to center impacted people. That's what this circle is about. That's why we said we would start that way. Fire, you are so right. And I say to you, I agree with you. Folk need to stop coming to just do something on a day, then leave. And I'm going to say something, probably going to get real trouble. But I actually think it would be wrong to name that bridge the John Lewis Bridge. It should be named the People's Bridge. And then you put all the names up there. John Lewis's name, Miss Boynton's name, everybody that was beat, everybody that was bled. Let's stop this damn worship of people and put the movement first. And John said that. John would say he didn't want it. When you make it about an individual, you don't have a movement. That's why we're here. And that's why these young, that's what they want. That's what they're drawn to. So let's go back and hear from impacted folk. Elliot, why are you here? Why is it so important?
Hello everyone, my name is Elliot. And the reason why I'm here is to show the connection, not only with the lineage of my great aunt, Miss Boynton, who was organizing in Selma for decades before it became nationalized, before Selma became internationalized, but for decades, the 1930s, the 1940s, 50s, 60s, Reverend Jackson knows this as well. He even told me that it was Miss Boynton that inspired him to come to Selma. And so I want to connect those pieces, and I also want to connect the voting piece to the economic piece, because sometimes we miss that. And sometimes when we just focus on voting, our message is too narrow. When we focus on voting as a black issue, that's right. And she brought Dr. King to Selma. That's right. And sometimes we have to connect the voting piece to the economic piece, and folks may not know that not only was my great aunt beaten on the M.M. Pettis Bridge, and she organized in Selma for decades, but she was also one of the residents of Resurrection City. And she was also part of the 1968 Poor People's Campaign. And she connected the dots like so many others that were there in Selma, all the foot soldiers that were there in Selma that also came and joined and became a part of Resurrection City because they connected the voting piece to the economic piece. That's why I'm here today. That's why I'm keeping pushing, and that's why I'm still fighting.
Thank you. Thank you. Connect the dots. Somebody say connect it. Somebody say May 1963. That was the first mass meeting. It wasn't in 65. It was 63. We got 3 months before the March on Washington, folk were already in Selma. We got to teach this history, y'all. Boynton met King in 54, Jesse, right? In 54, she met Martin Luther King. Boykin, Ferguson, Virginia. Her son. 19, what year was that? What year was that? What year was that? 1960. She ran for Congress in 63. But she wasn't doing this for a person, as an individual, but as a movement. Because it's forward together, not one step back. It's not forward by your damn self. God didn't create a monoverse. God created a universe. Why are you here, brother? Why are you here? Somebody said, why would a white man with a cowboy hat be here with all these black young folk and that? What's going on?
Thank you, Dr. Barber. I'm a son of the South. I grew up in Mississippi. And I remember when Brown versus Board of Education was passed because my mother pulled us aside and told us that the black kids and the white kids, we couldn't play together anymore. And that's how I knew that it had passed. So I got involved in the civil rights movement in Jackson, Mississippi in '68. I've been there ever since. Got involved in the labor movement. And one thing I found that it's not a person's consciousness that determines their well-being, but it's their well-being that determines their consciousness. And we can unite poor whites, poor blacks, Latinos around that. Reverend Jackson may not remember when he ran for president in 1988, the International Paper Workers got locked out in Mobile, the largest paper worker in one building in the world. They locked out. They didn't go on strike. They locked them out. They went to the white presidential candidates to get support, and they wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Michael Figures and I got in touch with Reverend Jackson, and he came down, and a union that had been led by the Klan stood behind Reverend Jackson and the workers that were locked out, and we won. And it broke the Klan up in that plant. And so I'm just here to say that right. That was led by the Klan. It broke it wide open. It broke it wide open. So we know it can be done. Alabama is number 1 or 2, the most industrialized state in the Union. But it's about number 3 in poverty. What does that tell us? And when we talk about the labor movement, we're not just talking about the union movement. We're talking about those that get out and labor and work these sub-minimum wage jobs, minimum wage jobs you can't make a living at. This is a labor movement. Also the homeless.
Somebody say teaching here. The other thing we got to do in movement, we got to teach some of this stuff because popular history doesn't teach it. The media, like they'll tell Alabama's a red state. Alabama really isn't a red state, nor is Mississippi, nor is Tennessee. They're unorganized states where people have been deliberately separated. The margin of victory in every southern state is less than the number of poor and low wealth people who don't vote. And not even the 100% of them. In most states, it's less than 25%. But they tell us we can't come together. And if you believe that, you never try that. And if you believe that, we're not even honoring what really happened in Selma. Blood was shed. It wasn't just black blood. I think James Reed got killed here, didn't he? And Viola Woosa. And Jimmy Lee Jackson. And countless others. So let's get in the movement together. And Swana Goodman Chamber, that's a very diverse group, Mississippi. But the power, somebody said to me the other day, a historian, he said, you know, the reason there was so much attention on Alabama, and Reverend Jackson knows this, as others know it, is because of that great history of unionization where people had come together and the bosses started pitting white and black workers against each other. And Dr. King saw that. That's why he spent so much time at the end of the Selma-to-Montgomery movement focusing on economics. Go read that speech and listen to it. It's amazing. I hadn't done it, and I repented for it about 2 years ago because I had just gone along with everybody. How long, not long. You know how they get us hooked on the hoop, Jesse, and not the substance. And yeah, just that one part. How long, not long. And then I read, I said, wait a minute, this man was at the end of the Selma-to-Montgomery movement, he was talking about bringing folk from Alabama and Appalachia together. In 65, there's no way in the world we can have an agenda today where voting rights simply becomes the special interest of black folk. April 4th, Reverend said, April 4th, this coming April, we're going to West Virginia. It's going to be a big mass thing with the Rainbow and others in Charleston. We're releasing a major report on the 3rd on what has happened to poor people during COVID. And then on that Monday, in cities all across this country, people are going to be walking in the middle of Main Street, June 18, 2022. And then on the 5th in West Virginia, up in the mountains, black and white folk, white women and black mothers are joining together with 25 other West Virginian groups to do their own Selma March in West Virginia on Highway 19, right past in front of Manchin's house. There's something happening, y'all. But it's happening with the folk that want to bring everybody together. And it sure ain't happening with the folk that just want us to look at one or two individuals. My sister Callie, you've been out here. Why are you, here you come walking again, out here with Barbara Arwine, got your straw hat on. Why is it, why are you sitting beside him? I mean, what?
What's up, Dallas County? What's up, Dallas? My name is Callie Gree. I'm living in Selma, Alabama now. You all know me from walking with Reverend Barbara and Poor People's Campaign for my daughter Venus. Died for lack of health care here in the state of Alabama, in Montgomery, Alabama. Venus should not be dead. We just celebrated her life being transitioned. February 23rd was 9 years, and we have not stopped, and we'll refuse to stop. But it didn't start with the Poor People's Campaign. I started with Fire Rose and the SOS. Save ourselves. Come on, somebody. You better know you better. And I also work with Dr. Bernard Sampson with the NAACP on the first Medicaid expansion rally in Montgomery, and Venus got a chance to speak for herself one time, and she passed away about a month later. So, one time. For herself, one time. Many more times.
The greatest moral voices in this country are not preachers like me. The greatest moral voices are the impacted people who have the greatest clarity about what they say. And we need to support that and not take away from that. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands of Venuses that need to speak to America.
It is. It is. And so I continue to march. I lost a son to gun violence. His name was Mercury. Yes, Venus and Mercury. it is what it is. So, and I've lost both of my children. But I continue to speak their names because they continue to live in me. As long as I speak their names, they will be alive. And I know that I'm not the only mother that has lost children and family members for the lack of health care. I'm trying to see where y'all at. You know, somebody else needs to be holding this mic. I'm not the only somebody that bury somebody in their family because you didn't have health care insurance. We got folks dying right now that are dying right now as I speak to you because they do not have adequate health care insurance. We got family, we got friends right up the road with hookworms in the ground in their front yard because sewage, they got the water line. What we gonna do? What we gonna do? I refuse to sit at home and watch soap operas. It almost killed me during the pandemic. I had 2 heart failures sitting up in that house. I had to get out I gotta get out and do this. Because if I don't, I'll die. It'll kill me. So sit and just let that stuff simmer in me. Y'all better come on here, young folks. Look, I can't walk like y'all do. I ain't gonna pass you my torch, but I will give you a light.
Oh! I like that.
Yes, sir.
I like that.
Yes, sir. So yeah, so come on, y'all. Let's do this thing. June 18th, 2022. If you anywhere in Dallas County or in the state of Alabama, holler at me. I got you. I'm gonna register you. I'm gonna give you a T-shirt, and we're gonna get you to DC. Come on now.
Come on, say. Because I like that, because I ain't got to die for you to stand up. Moses ain't got to die for Joshua to be in the fight. Paul ain't got to die for Timothy to be in the fight. Huh? So tell somebody, say, look, I ain't passing you my baton. Or my torch. What she said, I'm not going to give you I'm not passing you my torch, I'll give you a light. I'm going to give you a light. And if we light it up, somebody say light it up. Do you all know why June 18th is happening that week? Because we said that anytime we did something in D.C., it would be 3 things. Number 1, it would be closest to the summer solstice. June 21st, when the light is closest to the earth, because we need to shine the light. Secondly, because the Congress is still in session. Ain't no need to go there. They're not somewhere around there. And thirdly, because you cannot have moral implementation until you shift moral imagination. Huh? Now, the next day is Juneteenth. But the point is, on June 18th, we're saying that somebody else ain't got the memo. They didn't get the memo till June 8th, but the country hadn't gotten the memo if they think we're going to continue to accept what doesn't have to be accepted. Every legislature that is a voter suppressor also blocks health care. Same people, Barbara. And if they are sinister enough to be together, we better be smart enough to put together. Jesse, Reverend Jackson, I was up in Eastern Kentucky, and we're going to go around. I'm going to give this to Mike and Mark in a second. We were in Eastern Kentucky with the Hatfields and McCoy. Eastern Kentucky. Y'all know? Eastern Kentucky. Where they say basically, you better not come up here if you look like me, or if you, yeah, and everybody told us it was Trump country. We went up there and we found human beings, right? And we sat in the room with them, and we put a map up in the room. And Barbara, it was your map. You didn't even know we were you. We took some of your data about you remember Liz, about the shame. And we showed all white audience pretty much. And we showed them all the voter suppression. Then we showed them all the people in their state that was voter suppression. Then we showed them how the people that suppressed the vote also took their union rights and were taking their pension and their water rights and all that. And so a guy stood up, Reverend Jackson, in the back. He was a real Hatfield, like the Hatfields and McCoy, the one that chased each other like on that old Mountain Dew bottle. Y'all remember when they used to shoot at the young folk? Don't remember that old. He said, Reverend Barber, show me that map again. I said, what map? He said, that map. I said, okay. I said, here are all the me and Liz with election. I said, here are all the politicians. And they tell y'all they're against gay people. They tell you all they want prayer in the school. They tell you all they're working on voter fraud, but it's really voter suppression. Now watch this. These are the same ones that's taking your health care, blocking your union. And that Hatfield said, and this is my 3 cuss limit, so I can't go no further. But I didn't say this one. He said, well, damn, they playing us against each other. And I said, so what we gonna do about it? Now, we organized in 5 counties up there. Never endorsed the candidate, but it said, you all need to stand up. In the next election, 3 of those 5 counties went so-called blue. If people get an understanding of how they're being played, you may not get everybody, but you're going to get a significant somebody. And that's what we're trying to do. I want us to honor the monks that are here from the Buddhist community. And the reason why, because when Buddhist monks show up, and they have thought and meditated, they don't move unless they really move deep and dedicated. And when they said they walked in the back of the line, they ain't asked for no camera, they ain't asked no, you know what they were doing in the back of the line? Blessing them all, blessing. But when the monks will move like that, something, they don't connect themselves with stuff that the spirit ain't right. They will not do it, because they'll meditate a long time before they get involved. So I want to honor them. I want to honor them today for coming. They ain't going to say a whole lot, but their presence says a whole lot. My sister, why are you here? Then I want to give this to Liz and Mark to go around the other half of the circle and then come back into it, just people saying, but we're still live streaming all across. And then we got to have a little conversation about what we're going to do for the next leg, for health reasons and for security reasons for y'all and everything. But my sister, why are you here?
I'm here. Good evening, first of all. I'm here because I learned how important voting was when Ahmaud was murdered. Me and my family had to come up with 3,500 signatures to remove Jackie Johnson. When they added it up, it was about 7,000 signatures. Me and my family, we walked in the sun sometime 8 and 9 hours a day. We didn't get no credit, but we removed Jackie Johnson. We did that. We sat in the front of the courthouse 7 weeks straight. They tried to ban us off the property. Miss Barbara made them call some people. We pay taxes. They don't have to move. In the rain, half us got sick sitting out there. But we stayed out there till we got a verdict. When the judge said guilty, my brother said, now we're going to move on to the federal. I say, we with you. Wherever you got to go, we're going to be with you. We sat to the federal building on them hard benches almost 4 weeks. Before we can get in the courthouse, they about script searched us every day. My brother about had to take all of his clothes off to go in the courtroom about his son. But you know what? We did it. One day she told me I had mace in my pocketbook. I don't even know what mace looked like. But I let her check it. I still walked in that courtroom and sat in there 4 weeks with my brother till we got a guilty verdict.
That's right. Can I ask a question, Barbara? Now, all these folk that did all this dirty stuff to Marcus and the family, they were elected too, right? Yes. I just want y'all to see, so I heard somebody say, well, I'm marching against police violence. And then they said, but I don't believe in voting. I just kind of had to sit with that. You know, it's the kind of thing that make you just sit down and say, what? Because all the folk you mad with, the DAs, the judges, the sheriffs, they all are elected. So you can't say you're against somebody shooting people down if you're not working to vote them down. or vote them out, right? Y'all give it up for Liz. We got 7 more people that are going to give remarks, and then we're going to figure out where we go from here.
All right, I'm going to come on over to this side, hear from others that have joined us about why you feel like it's so important to march, why you have to be here today, and why you have to get your voice out into the world.
Hello, y'all. My name is Germany Gray. I'm from the city of Soul, Jackson, Mississippi, and I attend the illustrious University in New Orleans, Louisiana. And the reason why I think it's important to be here today is because I think being here today continues the hope that the people who are here in the past had. I also think the hope that they had, the hope that the people who did the Freedom Summer in Mississippi, the hope that they had to break Mississippi, to encourage us to go and vote, just keeping that hope that the system can change, that we can become better as a country and as people. And I just think that as a political science major, I understand how important voting is. And so knowing how important it is, and right now I'm doing research into like the war on drugs, seeing how politics basically caused that war and how impactful it can be. Having that knowledge really makes me think that, being here, encouraging people to vote is so important. And I will say, though, while I do think that voting is an important way to move forward, it's not going to be the only solution to this problem. Unfortunately for us, our problems are so widespread, so systemic, that it's going to take some multiple solutions to really move forward as a country. But I know through hope that we will do it one day. So that's why I march.
Reverend Jackson, our elder, he's going to need to step out. He wants to say a little something. But we're doing this because, it's live stream, it's being filmed. This is so important. So would y'all mind if I'm going to have him, he wants to say one more thing to us, and then we're going to celebrate him as he takes his rest. Amen. And let me just say something to you, Reverend, in front of everybody. And I want to say it to the world. We got you, Rev. We got you for all the stuff that you did when most of us wasn't around. And I want to say this to all of you. Rev, all you got to do sometimes is just show up. We got to work. You've done it. Just show. Rev, hear me on this. And the folk that take care of him, hear me on this. Moses is not supposed to have to do certain things. Sometimes the purpose of Moses is just to come and sit on the stage with the movement in him and the light. So, Rev, I just want you to know that, because I know how some folks is. But as far as this movement is going on, we got you. If you don't feel like but 3 minutes, we got you, right? If you just want to show up and be on the stage for 5 minutes, we got you. If you want to interrupt, we got you. Sometime if you just sit there, you can just shout at the fact that your labor has not and continues not to be in vain, because we got you, man. I say that with everything in me. And the reason I say that, I was a senior in college. I was a junior. And Reverend Jackson, I never forget this. We all got our, but I was a junior. And he came to be in Duke Auditorium. And we had been trying to get folk to the meeting, but they didn't come till he came, because of the cameras and all. And they came. And then all of them wanted to jump in front. He ain't know me. He said, "Is that the student government president?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "That's who I want to introduce me." And some of the political folk were like, no. We here. And Reverend said, And he put me up to introduce and speak him, and then took us to the chicken hut. I got mad with him because he called me double helping, but we'll deal with that later. But when we got to the hut, the lady offered to pay his meal. Watch this. Reverend said, "No, pay one of those brothers out their meal. I can pay." And then for the next 2 hours, He poured into us. And there were folk that wouldn't spend a time with us when we were young, right? This man said, he told all of them, back up, I want a student. I want a student. And he's carried a lot of folk that ain't never said thank you. So let's say thank you. Let's have him have a word. And then let's say, Reverend, we got you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you very much. I'm sitting down. No disrespect. I'm sitting down because I have the Parkinson's, and it attacks your speech, it attacks your mobility, your balance, and I caught COVID, and it didn't attack my body because I had 2 shots already. It went to my Parkinson's, so I could not walk except for 5 weeks. Couldn't speak a sentence for 5 weeks. So I wouldn't walk again. I'm marching all the way from here to Montgomery. Thanks be to God. Let me say, man, for April the 4th, Dr. King's commemoration. We're having a mass rally in Charleston, West Virginia, bringing people together from Appalachia and from Allegheny Mountains, Charleston, West Virginia. I hope to have Will Nelson and Steve Wonder there as well. A massive rally, and let people speak for themselves. If they raise wages of $15 an hour, you lift every poor person in the mountain out of poverty. We're fighting $15 an hour. Say amen, somebody. And so that's, the second thing is that I don't love the government, I love the country. It's my country. It's my country. My country. Not my government. I'm fighting to change it. Third thing is into this. Leroy Johnson was the only black official in the South when Dr. King spoke in Washington. He's the only one, Barbara. Virginia around, the one black official, black senator. He sat in the Georgia legislature alone. He's the reason why Ali's back in the ring to fight. Ali went to 47 states and 53 cities trying to get a license to fight. He was an Ali fan. Governor Axel Wallace, Axel Maddox, got in trouble. His son got in trouble. They will put him in jail. He spoke up for Maddox's sons to give him a second chance to impress Maddox. So Maddox said, Bishop, Maddox said, want to meet with him. Said, I want to do it for you. I help you, I will. So I have a man who wants a second chance. His name is Ali. Maddox said, well, I'll stand with him. Say, but clearly, eat me alive. Then he said, I changed my mind. I can't stand with you on that one. So Governor Sanders, former governor of Georgia, represented them. They won the case. Ali got back in the ring because one man, one light in all the darkness of that legislature. Say one person can make a difference. Last point is simply this, my friends. You are here in a very historic moment. Just keep arguing about high school seniors registered and vote. That's 3 million of them. Kennedy beat Nixon by 130,000 votes. Ford, Bush beat Gore by 530 votes. So 3 million votes matter. Now, people we made progress. There's a black mayor in Birmingham. So there's no more gym clock, no more bull clock there. In Selma, there's no more gym clock there. In Mobile, there's the Close Hill ship, last slave ship landed. Montgomery, where the one was locked up trying to use the bus. And Tuskegee, Alabama, where they did the experiments. So that there is hope in the house. Hope in the house. So this next close, Brother Bob, I'm impressed with this, the way you're doing this round table. April 4th, I repeat, April 4th, we're having a meeting. I want all y'all to be in with me that day. We need to have a great white-black meeting. The coal miners are the hardest workers in America. You go 3 miles down the ground, 3 miles in the ground, and you're going to need and sheets of coal all day long. Every 6 hours, black coal miners dies from black lung disease today. Every 6 hours. A coal miner dies, black lung disease. And I'm all here. I'm an impacted person. Y'all know me because I'm great now. More great than famous. So we can all be famous. We can all be famous. We can all be famous. We can all be well known. We can all be great. All of us can serve. I'm famous because I'm great. Great is when you serve people. I went to say yesterday for the Vice President. I'm here with y'all today. This is where I find my strength. You represent joy and hope to me. Joy and hope to me. And those principalities marching, if we come down the highway. If I had to march, I don't feel that march. I had to march to just satisfy my own soul. You mean so much to me. All right? Yes, sir. And Mrs. Barbara, this is the last point. This is very, very important to me. That when we march the 4th, we march the 5th, right? And the next day, we're all going to Washington on the 18th. We've been in big numbers with God's people. And when we move, great things. We've never lost a battle. Never lost a battle. That we fought. Never won the battle. Lest we fought. Never lost a battle. That we fought. Never won the battle. Lest we fought. We're fighting a righteous fight. We'll win this battle.
We're going to win this battle.
Bishop, thank you very much for allowing me to share this day with our people. God bless you. God bless you.
Give it up. We want Reverend Jackson's team to come. We're going to take 5 minutes because we got some of y'all, the cars now, they're talking about they're trying to tow because some folk, 2 tow trucks because they parked on 80 where it started. There's something strange going on. All right, so we need folk to get back to where we started, okay? And if you all would, can we close with that? What Reverend Jackson said? Is that all right? Can we close out today with that? Because we ain't about an ego trip, right? So let's let him get out first with his team. Let's let him get out first. Let's thank Reverend Liz. I'm moving by the Spirit now. I'm not moving by agenda. But I don't want people with cars to be told. We didn't know that when we started, right? So if y'all will stand up, watch it. Come on, let's stay here, stand up. Say this, I've got a feeling everything's gonna be all right. Oh,
I got a feeling everything's gonna be all right. Oh, Lord, I got a feeling everything's gonna be all right.
Be all right, be all right, be all right. Don't you know that Rosa, she done told me everything. Don't you know Rosa, she done told me everything. Don't you know Sister Rosa done told me everything. Come here. Right, come here, baby. Be all right.
Be all right. Be all right. Said that Martin done told me that everything's gonna be all right. Said that Martin done told me everything's gonna be all right. Said that Martin done told me everything's gonna be all right. Be all right. Be all right. Be all right. Well, the elders done told me everything's gonna be all right. Said that the elders done told me everything's gonna be all right. Said that the elders done told me everything